Hi, I'm Rev Myron, and I'm a Pathways of Light minister. I've been doing A Course in Miracles now for over 40 years, and I love going through the lessons. I do it every year, have been doing it every year for several years now, and this year is no different. One of the things that I do is I read the lesson with the Holy Spirit, and I ask for clarity. What would you have me know about this? How would you have me understand this lesson this year? And so then I write down whatever comes into my mind after I've done that, after I've asked for inspiration. So let me begin by sharing with you the lesson that I'm working on today, which is A Course in Miracles lesson 312. I see all things as I would have them be. Perception follows judgment. Having judged, we therefore see what we would look upon. For sight can merely serve to offer us what we would have. It is impossible to overlook what we would see and fail to see what we have chosen to behold. How surely, therefore, must the real world come to greet the holy sight of anyone who takes the Holy Spirit's purpose as his goal for seeing. And he cannot fail to look upon what Christ would have him see and share Christ's love for what he looks upon. I have no purpose for today except to look upon a liberated world, set free from all the judgments I have made. Father, this is your will for me today, and therefore it must be my goal as well. Well, first I judge and then I perceive. Another way to say this is that I decide what I want to see and then I see it. This sounds crazy since so much of what we see is painful or ugly. So much of what we see seems to be outside our ability to control, much less to manifest. But let us remember that Jesus tells us that all thinking produces form at some level. This tells me that I must be careful of what I think, or seen another way, I must be careful what thoughts I choose to believe. The way I change my thinking is to choose a different guide to thinking. I become aware that my feelings indicate to me that the form my thinking produced is not what I truly want. I realize that I must have chosen the ego as my interpreter of reality. Here's an example. I'm telling a friend about a problem that I have and she doesn't seem to be paying attention. I judge her as not being a good friend. This is because I used the ego perspective to make that decision. In other words, I asked the ego what it means that my friend is distracted. I had another option. I could ask the Holy Spirit what this means. He would have given me a different way to see it. I would have realized that my friend may have problems of her own, or she may have a headache. The point is, her attention or her inattention doesn't mean anything about me. I chose to judge her as a bad friend because I felt unworthy and was looking for proof that this was true. I always find what I look for. I choose the ego part of the mind or the Holy Spirit part of the mind according to my goal, which I choose depends or determines my experience of the world. Now that I understand how it works, I watch for opportunities to choose differently, to establish a different thought habit. When I choose to judge on my own, that is, with the ego mindset, I always suffer. The reason is because I'm choosing separation and specialness. That is, what I am choosing is a defense against love. And if I don't choose love, I choose fear. Instead, or as soon as I notice a need, I change my mind and choose God. I choose love. Another way to say this is that I choose union or oneness. When I let go of the judgment against my friend, I no longer cared why she was acting disinterested or distracted. Without the judgment, I just loved my friend. The love I felt for her reflected back to me. The effect was that I no longer felt burdened by my problem, as love heals all. If the problem shows up in another way or another time, Perhaps I will be wise enough to look at it with the Holy Spirit rather than the ego. As I continue to do this, I notice that I judge less and love more. The ego's goal is to separate in fear and anger. In contrast, the Holy Spirit's goal is to unite in love. To reinforce this new way of choosing, I dedicate myself to the Holy Spirit's purpose of unification and love. Well, thanks so much for being here with me today and looking at this lesson with me. I also recommend reading or listening to the inspiration from Pathways of Light on this particular lesson. I think you might enjoy that as well. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow.